Hey everyone, it's time for some ALPP loving. So let's jump straight into the charts. I've been away in Sardinia and Barcelona on a cruise, and then I stayed a few nights in Barcelona to enjoy some sunshine, hence why I have not had any videos out until this moment in time. I am going to bring up the charts right now so you guys can see what is trending with Alpine 4. I have a ton of stock news that I'm going to get through over the next few weeks as I start to adjust and make a new schedule this month so that you guys will know which days I'm going to start to upload. Hopefully 3 times a week. I'll announce it on my page so you guys will be able to follow along, and you'll know when I'm going to have consistent and regular uploads so that you guys can watch them every single week, and that way there won't be any confusion moving forward. So Alpine 4, guys, is now currently sitting at $2.70. We have a lot of news to get through on their Twitter page. We even had the earnings call that came out a few weeks ago, which I didn't get to do a full deep dive in, but basically their revenues have grown 63%. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this since their first quarter, and they have had their gross profits increased by 425% over Q1. Now, again, a lot of this jump up has happened because we had the pandemic. So some of their business models have been shut down, and they have now since started to extend that moving forward, which is why we have seen such a dramatic increase in some of those profit margins. You have to remember with Alpine 4, they have their 3 different subsidiaries which drive their business. They have their drivers, their stabilizers, and their facilitators, and each part of their business model is absolutely outstanding because what it does is it allows them to balance that sheet out. If one company in a certain subsidiary is a higher risk, for example, they have their subsidiaries which are going to be potentially in stabilizers or drivers, which is going to actually increase and grow that revenue at a much more stable effect, which is going to offset some of those losses while they start to ramp up their production in some of those other subsidiaries. So it's really important to remember at the start of this, guys, that Alpine 4 isn't a company tethered with myopic products or services that have a limited lifespan. Rather, they have set out a development, as something unique for investors all over the world to participate in. The blend of investors, retail, and institution of Alpine 4 is something to be admired. So they are trying to set themselves up, guys, into new affirmations, and Q2 was a spectacular quarter with revenue growth both organically from acquisitions. They had organic growth in Q2, which means they have used some of their growth outside of their subsidiaries currently that they are invested in. So this is new growth, guys, of 14% in one quarter, which is very nice to see, and that was led by QCA, which is from their quality circuit assembly, and that grew by 18.82% in Q2 over Q1, and that was driven by the rise in electrical car, truck, and health tech customers, and this will continue to ramp up, guys, especially in the electrical car department, because that is going to be, worth over 40 million right now in retail sales over the next 2 years. As Kathy Wood says, by the end of this year, right now it's only about 2.5 million, and it's just going to continue to increase absolutely exponentially as all these innovation plays start to join and converge with their start of the S-curve. So expanding our manufacturing and defense holdings through focused acquisitions. The company had made 2 acquisitions, as we talked about, and this allows the company, guys, to grow into different vertical markets, which is what I love about Alpine 4. And Alpine 4 revenue grew by 63% in their aerospace and defense sector that they're trying to get their hands in, especially with their value, which we are seeing a lot more information about over the last kind of 2 months. Their gross profit, guys, was stellar, as we said, 425%, and it grew from 755k to 4 million. So that's a lovely increase. That's what we want to continue to see moving over the next few years. We want to continue to see this type of growth and delivery that they will be able to have because they are such a new startup company. So we should start to see, those margins increase quite a lot every single quarter. And again, this is led by some of their stabilizers and QCA. So that's very, very nice to know that a lot of their businesses are doing very, very well. The research and development expenses obviously was something that they had put out. And again, this just comes to the risk with value. But as I said, moving over the next few years, we can then start to hopefully get the deployment of the US1 combined with the G1 out, and then we can start to have, that kind of money coming back in once we see a shift to that drone technology. But right now they are having to expand in their R&D. So that is where some of their short-term profits are going, which is going to pull the company down. But in the long run, I am not worried about any of that. whatsoever. Q3 projects on the horizon. It gives them great pleasure because they are going to continue to rise in Q3. The company anticipates generating 19.5 million to 21 million in revenue, so that our gross profits will continue to rise as well. So that's very good news. As they said, there's an outlook, so we'll have to stand by and look for some of those targets as well. And they are saying to all of our shareholders, I know I speak on behalf of the executive leadership team and our 427 employees in saying that we value you and are pleased to have you on this journey with us. So you really can't get much more transparency than that. So that is some really good news again on the Alpine for Q2 result. And right now you can see that they are really concentrating quite heavily on their value and aerospace defense sector that they are using in some of their subsidiaries. And so they have recently also announced on here that we have a new expedition for people that want to go and see the drones in person, which is actually today until the 9th of September. This is all on their Twitter page if you do want to read up more about any of this, or if you want to go and see, then that would be amazing. Be sure to give me a message on here and let me know if you did attend this event, because I would love to hear. Again, I can't attend this because it's nowhere near where I am. I'm in the UK. I would love to go and see this though, and see exactly what they have been doing. And guys, you have to remember that with the Nasdaq information, we did actually have news out that they are now with a solicitor with Donahoe Advisory, and they are working in directly with the company to help get that Nasdaq uplisting to happen at some point this year. Ken again is doing everything he can to be transparent with us. So if you are a shareholder, then don't concentrate on what the stock price is doing in the short term. You have to focus on what a business is. This goes for any type of company that you are holding inside your portfolio. It's not just about Alpine 4, guys, but whatever you're holding, you have to look at the underlying business. Really, the YouTube algorithm doesn't allow me to write some things when I would like to write, you know, buy Alpine 4 because of its underlying business. Again, it's top 5 stocks to buy is what you search for on the YouTube algorithm. So if the business is actually increasing over time, then again, you have nothing to worry about. We can see that they are expanding their subsidiaries. And if you guys remember this year, we have also merged with Alternative Labs and also with Thermal Dynamics. So you can see that they are continuing to increase that business by taking on new subsidiaries. We don't know what subsidiaries are going to come up in the future. We could have some more surprises yet to come over the next quarter and moving into Q4 later this year. I'm going to shut my phone up for a second. But basically, guys, it is just about, you know, holding this down. If you are someone like me that is now sitting down in the red on side this position, it's totally fine. You can use this time to potentially average down because it is below that $3 price range. But as this business starts to increase and we start to get those government contracts, especially with that defense sector, we don't know how big that is going to be. We know that drone technology is taking off. ARK Invest predicted to be a few $1 trillion in market cap by 2025, moving through to 2030, which is nothing like where it currently is at. So as we come into fruition of the next decade, we are going to see some massive innovation shifts into things like drone technology and artificial intelligence. And again, we could have some of those candidates, some of those subsidiaries start to actually play off in Alpine 4 because it is such a new company and they are trying to expand globally. And if Palantir start to work with drone technology, with value and aerospace, with government contracts, we don't know how big an opportunity could be for these investments. So for me, holding Alpine 4 for the long term is absolutely fundamentally correct right now. I'm not here to sell my shares. My average price is around $3, so I'm really not worried about too much if I'm down, on my position. If this goes to $2, then I will be buying more of this stock over the long term because I do believe in the fundamentals of this business as they continue to grow. This company continues to sell off on the stock market, which to me is a perfect buying opportunity. So taking a look, guys, at Alpine 4 right now, like I said, at $2.70 with a really strong support layer holding up above $2.50. We are kind of at the 50 stretch on the RSI, so if we start to continue to trend up, we can expect to test back onto that 200-day average. Hopefully when we do break above this, we can then start to trend again up to those highs of $4.50, which is that secondary area of resistance, but we just have to first break through this 200-day moving average, which we can see is that big purple line. So once that does happen, guys, that's when we are going to start to see a shift again into some more bullish momentum. And you can see see, guys, that I'm going to end with the Dear Shareholders letter that came out just a few weeks ago. It says that we continue to be in communication with Nasdaq and we look forward to a Nasdaq completing their work. However, I cannot comment on a date for the completion as they have not given us one yet. So again, it's just Kent being completely transparent with us. I know so many people are trolling this channel and so many trolls on Twitter. I've read through so many of the comments that they post on some of their announcements when they announce letters like this, because they're just impatient because they are down in the red of their position. So I can understand people's frustration, but you have to remember that the company, it's not based on the stock, it's based on the business. Now, if the stock was going up, which a lot of stocks do in the stock market, but the business is declining, then again, that is a bad business model and you are going to lose money in the long term. But eventually, guys, everything will settle and things will start to pan out, and you will see that in a few years from now, Alpine 4 will start to have that global expansion. They're going to have new subsidiaries, and some of that current subsidiaries are going to start to rise into higher profits, and you'll see that as we come into the next few quarters, and Alpine 4, you know, will eventually announce that Nasdaq uplisting. Once we do hear that information, we are going to have a ton of capital flooding into this stock because companies and institutions are going to be able to purchase those shares for the longer term, and we are going to be some of the first people, guys, on the OTC market that actually had access to invest in a very new startup company that is growing, that is starting to get profit in some of those subsidiaries, and they are expanding globally, and they have their, you know, their finger in so many different pies. And that's why I love this business model, and I really am super bullish on Alpine 4. I've only been buying this stock now over the last few months, and I've just averaged down my position every few months. Again, once it does hit around that $2.50, that is a perfect place to load the boat, in my opinion, because there is such a strong fundamental support here. I really would be surprised if we did drop below that at this point, especially with so much good news currently happening on their Twitter page and also on the horizon. And once we do get that Nasdaq uplisting, like I said, we are going to see a takeoff. And again, it is important for shareholders to remember that Alpine 4 has not sold a single share since its inception. So that just goes to show the strong management that we have right now with Alpine 4. We believe in what we have already built, what we are currently building, and our future success yet to come. So it's really, really important to read. We can only hope that holding through our personal stock through the uplist process serves as a testament to all of you, that our commitment and faith is unwavering. We stand with you all through this process, and we look forward to announcing a firm update to, update us on the listing there for Nasdaq. So that, again, guys, is our Alpine 4 update. I'm really not worried, like I said, about anything that is happening in the short term, so I'm not gonna, dive too deeply into some of those fundamentals. I just wanted to get this quick video out and give you guys a little bit of an update today on the share price with, again, some of these TAs on the graph that I'm using on TradingView. So we are looking for it to cross over that 200-day moving average and then start to come back up to that $4.50 mark. So guys, have a wonderful week, and like I said, I will make some announcements shortly to get a lot of these videos out, and I'll see you guys in my next video. And if you would like access to any of my buy and sell alerts, or you would like to support the channel in any way, a big shout out and a thanks to my patrons and anyone that made it this far, then feel free to join the Patreon for the price of a coffee. I will leave it in the link below. Guys, have a great week, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Ciao.